All right. Let me share my screen and just talk through a little bit of what's merged in. So let's see here. This screen, can you see the screen? Let me know when you can see the screen.
Hi, sure.
Oh, you can see it now?
Yeah.
All right, good, good, good. So let's see, get diff. Let me see what branch I'm in. Oh, check out main, get pull. Actually, we do have a linting error, so I'm going to fix that real quick in a separate screen on main. So let me just do pre-commit run all files, and then what? That's so strange. This is main, right? Because on main online, let me see. If you look here, it says there was a linting error on main. As a right here, failure linting pre-commit fail. It's not failing locally. So strange. It's a flake 8. What? Maybe this is this might be like flake failed to source word string not containing null bytes. This might be like a weird. Let me just rerun this. All right, I'll just rerun it. Okay. Anyway, back to the diff. Let's talk about the diff. Okay. So a good place you can see the diff is jack.lark. No, actually, to tell you the truth, what we can do is we can look at the merges. So if we look at the commit history, basically these fixtures with LLM functions, lower methods. Okay, let's see. So these three fixtures so these are working code examples. Of course, the model is just an object, right? So this is fine, right? This doesn't actually fundamentally change the language itself. And then, of course, we've got, where's the by? It's over here. It's not really, we're going to have to figure out how the formatter should treat these things, but basically this kind of syntax is in, like this kind of feature, this language feature, the by LLM, which we're okay with. Now, I'm still a little iffy about the decisions here. I'm still a little iffy about this, but this is something we can probably think through and sort out as we go. What do you think?
Uh, by LLM reason to what is the things that you think that
I see.
what is the problems that you have?
Well,
I
yeah.
had like some feedback regarding like adding context, and they have added it, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like I don't have a new idea about it.
sure. No, I mean, so it feels to me like these parameters needs to be themselves customizable, right? Like these are a static set of parameters, but like reason, and some of how these works, like this takes a tuple. It doesn't really take like, I mean, there might be, this almost should be almost specified in here somehow. I mean, I think there's some space of,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's some space of what these parameters are or the definition of these parameters that should be customizable by the programmer. And so I think eventually we may want to do that, We may want to really think through like what goes in here, right? Because when you think about the specification of these parameters, this is at the level of a library. It's not really these. I mean, these are we're kind of intermingling what should be library standard library stuff and what should be language level stuff, right? So Yeah, so you wouldn't want to bind these kinds of parameters or what goes in here to the language level. I mean, to the yeah, you wouldn't want to bind these to the language level because this is library level stuff, which should be somehow specified in the language itself, right? So it's kind of like some stuff like that will probably come, but I'm letting this in for now just to make progress. So this is in, um, and then oh,
So
go ahead.
one comment on that. So
Mm-hmm.
I found this idea in this DSPY. They have this inputs as input types and outputs as output types.
Mm-hmm.
Specifying them like that, they can customize their own LLM model, like
Mm-hmm.
according to what they want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So can we go in an approach like that for this for LLM?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. You mean
Because they
like
have like a basic building blocks, and using them, they can build whatever they want.
right, exactly. So we definitely want to go. So I think we're gonna want to have some automatic let the runtime decide or let the ecosystem decide type approaches. But ultimately, we're going to want to let all of that be overridable. And the way that we can accomplish that is by leveraging this kind of Pythonic stuff. Like, I forget what these are called. Are they called like internal attributes or something, or something like that? But you have a set of these private methods that you can use to, it's almost like at the language level will have certain rules around these, right? Or maybe specify a space of these that are like legit or like recognized as semantically important to the language. Like we're gonna try to add infer, maybe we'll see. but but it basically the design space should be in that kind of realm. So you're absolutely right, and basically I'm very excited that you've had the insight to go and understand DSPY and play with it for your own knowledge, because that means that you'll have some perspective to bring to bear on the design decisions, the final design decisions we'll come to. So so yeah, anyway, keep up that work. You're on the right track. I'm just continuing to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, because it's going to be really important when we after this first prototype. Yeah, go ahead. So
Like
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
like I see like Sunrise putting these articles about DSPY getting popular, and I am also concerned about it. But still, without having like a proper implementation and just showing okay we can do this, and if we show it, them the internals, it's just some things that stitched up together. So that won't give a good impression, first impression.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're trying to say, right? Like we really should design this to be an elegant and scalable solution. Now, that never get concerned about things becoming popular, like because that's actually all good. It's actually good when there's an active and community and many ideas going around. I don't know if you've heard of the second system effect, or often it's the case that being the first is incredibly risky, usually, because it's kind of like Yahoo and Google, or MySpace and Facebook. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean, let it get popular. That's great. Like, if you know fundamentally that you're doing something that's more correct, then it's good to have that rich ecosystem, because they're almost educating people about what the baseline is or what the problem is. They're substantiating the importance of the problem area. So like the popularity of say DSPY and LangChain, really DSPY is the second system to LangChain, right? And the popularity of say DSPY is a sign that the market wants this. The market really cares about this,
Yeah.
and that's great. And so we're on the right track. Like what we're trying to do is the right thing that the world needs. Now, you can learn from the failures of all those systems to try to build something better. And really, the only thing that matters is we build something that we want to use. I really believe in this philosophically when it comes to the design of products, even in general. You want to, you know, build it for yourself, for you as the number one
Yeah.
consumer, and then at least you will be pleased by it. You know what I mean? And if you're sufficiently knowledgeable in the space, that means something. That means something very important. It means something special. If you like it and you are an expert and have used everything else and like all of the ick that comes from using all these other approaches, and then you build something that makes you pleased, means that you've done something special. And so you just go with that, and rely on yourself to continue to challenge the status quo, right? From that gut perspective. So yeah, man, yeah, it's actually good news. Like, I often like this happens all the time, dude. Like through the years of creating products and companies and so forth, the first instinct, the intuitive instinct, is to see someone that's doing something similar, or maybe even the same thing, and then be like, oh no, what I'm doing isn't special anymore because these other folks are doing it, and like, oh look, they're even a little bit more popular, right? And then you're like, I get discouraged. But actually, that's the best possible news. It means yes,
Yeah.
I am working on the hotness, and I know that I'm better. You know what I mean? So let me just keep working and solve the problem, properly to my liking, and you trust in your own judgment. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's Could you imagine how frustrated DSBY must have been when they saw LangChain get funded? I think 20 million or something from Sequoia. It's like you can't let this stuff like create noise, but it's always good to learn as much as possible about all the thoughts around the particular problem, all the thinking that's out there. So yeah, man. Yeah. But anyway, so this is one. There's a couple of these files. So there's lower, which made it in. What did they add from I don't think this one added any language. This was just backend, right? To support. So it didn't really change the language abstractions. We still have a by LLM somewhere. Yeah, right here. Reason
So
equals true.
yeah, I didn't get a look into lower. So when
Hmm.
lowering, does it like adhere to if the type is different from what we like infer into the LLM? What will it be doing?
It So they put some code. They did it. They generate a try accept. They generate try accept block, and then if it accepts, they just return none, which I actually think is the right approach. I think we should raise that exception, in that it's like by LLM, and then you can actually have an accept block. I mean, like this. So we could actually have a code block of what to do in the symbolic realm if the neuro realm fails to give you a type that's good. So we can have something like this extended into the language. I told, as I was working with them on the PR, I told Kugation to create an issue that we should do something like that. So, but anyway, that's lower. And then I think we did method, right? Yeah, that was method. And then function is function. It's get emoji with these. Yeah, and so like I really do have a problem with this being statically affixed to the construct. So we will solve that separately. But yeah, anyway, so no worries there. Like these could just be has variables or something that you can access. So let me think. Yeah, man. So this is kind of what made it in so far. So nothing beyond this has made it in. The next thing that is supposed to come in was his like he has this thing like you remember this example that talks about university by LLM type
Type
thing?
example.
Yeah. So we had a long discussion about this and how to do it. I wasn't super sure. I'm still a little bit. There's still a little discussion around what if that's the right thing from a language orthogonality perspective. It's in one of my streams. It's in the video called Grumpy something something. 1 hour of Grumpy. So it's in there somewhere where we have a long discussion about this by LLM. I end up getting comfortable with it, treating it in the language grammar as a certain category of things, assigned comprehensions. And I think it'll come in, but we should have a discussion once we have the game working, built end to end in this meaning typed abstraction. Like we should have a discussion about some of these decisions and which ones we're making permanent and which ones we can design roadmap around for the next iteration. So that's coming. Yeah. Yeah, man. So cool. All right. So that's a little update, man. But yeah, keep it up, man. Like everything you're working on is really good. One of the only thing that I'm like, I have a little bit of I'm very, what is the word? Not anxious, but the only thing that causes any amount of concern is the way that we're executing the paper, right? I'm actually of the opinion, like it's been kind of blocked on Yiping for a while, and Yiping really wants to kind of hold on to it like really tightly, and I think that may not be necessary. Like I think you could drive the first version of it to the best of your ability. There's this thing that happens with management. Like there's this kind of, you have to accept that from your subjective perspective, when you have ideas as to how you would do something or how you want to do something, if you give that work to someone else or you delegate it to someone else, they're gonna do it to 70% of how you would do it, right? You have to relinquish that 30%, and that 30% window, it doesn't even necessarily mean it's 30% better. It doesn't. It's 30% different, right? To what you would do, and so you have to accept that. It's a part of leadership that you, all right, I could do it. I would do it this way, but someone else is going to be in charge of it doing it, at least the first version, and I accept it's going to look 30% different. It's like there's an insight there. I think the reason why he's like, no, 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 I'll get to it, I'll get to it. It's because he won't allow that 30% to happen, you know? And the way I look at it is, okay, I'm going to let that 30% happen, but it's an iterative journey. So we'll look at it and then we'll talk and then maybe we'll iterate on it, right? And so I think that's probably a thing. Anyway, I had a chat with him and um, he's gonna
Yeah,
do it this week. He said I'll definitely do it this week, and I was like, all right, cool. And you want to know what's really going on in my mentoring of him mentoring you? That's the 30%, right? So I'm allowing him to hold on to the 100% as the 30% different than what I would do if I was him connected to you. Isn't that interesting? It's so meta. So yeah. Anyway, it's a thing, dude. So always keep that in mind as you kind of mentor others in your future. Um, you
yeah.
know, the rule of the 30% different. Yeah. Um,
By the
uh,
way, like
yeah.
Savini, I think team I had compiled the presentation for now. I guess
Very good.
he,
That's very good.
uh, she's like on the way home, I guess. But
Okay.
after reading
I,
about
I'm
it,
incredibly
so
keen. I'm incredibly keen on the work that she's doing and having her learn more and well, have you seen it? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
yeah, it had a lot of like new insight. Like I hadn't had much time to like look into other, not like
Hmm.
languages, like
Hmm.
other languages where like Rust and
Hmm.
some. something called Nimlang or
Yeah,
anything is there?
yeah, I'm aware of Nimlang, yeah, as a
Yeah,
lang.
like I have not
Me
really
neither.
looked into them.
I
Nobody
know.
has like gone through their documentation and like showed the difference. And
Good.
like so clean as they like our repo is quite rudimentary.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that's work that we need to do. Yeah, 100%.
Yes, like we need to
Um,
do a lot of work there.
okay, okay, that's good. All right, I look forward to it. And indeed, like perhaps perhaps a smaller meeting makes sense. I don't know if she should just present it in the later meeting with everybody there. It's so much noise. It might be too much noise. I mean, this is kind of some deep thinking, creative work. So perhaps
I
I'll
think
just have a smaller
smaller
meeting.
request would be better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, I'll certainly think through that. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you in a couple hours. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, we'll talk again soon. Awesome. Yep. Later. Yep. Bye.
yeah, then
Mm. All right. Mm. Yeah, I'm gonna hop and do some other things now. That's not as interesting to do on stream, so I'll be back later. Peace.